Oh, hi, everyone. Really glad you were able to join us today for Word, coming straight to you from Nuyorican Poets Cafe. As you know, usually I'm co-hosting with Nick Powers. Nick isn't able to join us today. He's really busy, poet, activist, he's got something going on. So with me today is Rashaan Allen, and we're going to do a feature reading. Rashaan's going to read some of his poems, and then we're going to do the open mic. So if you've got something for us, we'd love to hear it. Looking forward to hearing your poems. And let's get started. Rashaan Allen, great guy, great poet, right? He's a Fulbright scholar. He's a professor at SUNY College. He's also got 3 chapbooks, A Walk Through Brooklyn and In the Moment, which were Amazon bestsellers, and then a chapbook that came out just this year, The Blues City for a Revolution. I actually really like that title, Rashaan. Maybe you can tell us something about that. I think you should get a prize for the best title.
It's like every time I'm in a Zoom, I always talk and I'm muted. Thank you, Christine, for introducing me. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so honored to be in this Nuyorican space virtually. Of course, in person would be better, but this is where we are. The title of my recent poetry collection is called The Blues Cry for a Revolution. And essentially, it really speaks to the times that we're in now. It's so much is happening, whether locally and nationally. A lot of times locally, we don't always hear what's happening in the news between, systematic oppression, but it really just speaks to this on many different levels. And I'm glad to have the opportunity to share a couple of poems with you. Am I able to get started? I can jump right in.
I think Christine had some network issues, so I would say definitely. I think she might be coming on in a bit.
Or should I wait or go? How do you want me to proceed?
You can do your thing, man.
Okay. All right. So this first piece right here is called For Brown Girls Whose Names Never Amber Alert. On my Facebook news feed, I unsee Black girls missing, a Black girl, now just Black. I unhang up the video chat with my sister. She untells me about her day. I take back my advice, makers trouble, ignore. She unlaughs. They don't know who she is. I undecided to say what I didn't follow at 16. Unwalk inside my apartment to unshow her the proximity of New Jersey stores, the bus stop, the diner, the park. I unlost the words to say, I love you and I care. They uncame out as, wherever I am, you're welcome here. The brief silence unechoed the states between us. She unasked me what I was doing. I unwatched her grow from a young lady to a girl. I forgot her smile shines in a dark room. Her name unslipped from my tongue. Her face I could no longer see. She's no longer in the family pictures, but she's closer than my skin to me. My skin unattached to my body unreceives oxygen. Missing never felt like death till a life is taken from you while you're both still breathing. Okay, so that was the first one. This piece right here is called, y'all can hear me okay? All right. This piece right here is called Prose to the Silent Conscious Man. 1, I don't know how to reach you, since when you speak in person or through social media, you are aware of current events. 2, I see you in every man who goes to work and comes home to watch sports until you ask a direct question like, what do you think about the systematic incarceration of Black and brown people who are locked up disproportionately to white people despite committing crimes at similar rates? 3, my granddad, father, uncles, cousins, and myself have been placed in handcuffs. I want to tell you why I write my days away. 4, the more I write, the more I discover our narrative was meant to be forgotten. 5, because my father didn't bond with his dad, my conscience screams, it's okay to repeat family history. 6, nor does my family share memories. I write in my journal, reflecting over the silence that filled my granddad's room when asked about his childhood. 7, 8, there was a loose paper left by my great grandma, my granddad's mom. It held names and places of people who were kin to me, but strangers at the same time. 9, you are like Wi-Fi. 10, when I want to connect, you are not in service for Black lives. 11, a survival tactic, I'm sure. 12, I need to learn how we can thrive without you. 13, and still be open to you when you're ready. 14, as if you're a branch from my family tree. Okay. Whew. And I got one more for you. Thank you. So this piece right here, it was inspired by a Norican cafe giant, Mahogany Brown. This one is called Black Boy Joy, and it's for Trayvon Martin and all the boys who were lost too soon. You ain't supposed to smile, Black boy. For those who look like us are behind cold steel bars. You ain't supposed to cry, Black boy, for too many of us never get to grow old. You ain't supposed to live for the future because your daddy left you somewhere in the past. You ain't supposed to laugh, Black boy, unless the joke's on you, on your skin, on your vision. How could you fly with clipped wings? Fly through bullets, fly through hate, fly through fear. You ain't supposed to soar, Black boy. You find Black boy joy in your dance. Stomp in the yard, ain't no half stepping along the way. You find Black boy joy in your style, the way your kicks compliment your shirt. I tip my hat. You got Black boy swag. You are not the exception, except the excellence your brown skin illuminates. You too can be a doctor, a scholar, a writer. Don't crack, Black boy. Don't lean, Black boy. You may fall, but get up by any means, Black boy. You are not a hater. You are a brother, a husband, a father. You are a born winner in this cold, cold world. Grow and glow like your afro, Black boy. You are LeBron James, Jay-Z, Denzel Washington. You are Diddy. You are Will Smith. You are a dream so big. You are a diamond so bright. You are surviving. You are thriving. Be brilliant. Be brotherly. Be brave. Black boy, your mind is a canvas. Your actions a brush. Black boy brilliance. I see a Black boy being crowned king. You are Black boy joy.
Woo! You're on fire tonight, Rashaan.
That's what we
Thanks.
got. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you very much. Woo! So that's just a little bit of piece of me I'm sharing with y'all. I'm so excited for tonight's show.
So I have a question for you. I mean, you're, you know, like your lyrics, they're so musical. Are you a musician? Have you studied music?
I mean, I don't necessarily study music, but I'm one of those guys or music fans who, when I hear a song I like, I'm going to genius.com and I'm reading the lyrics, you know, and I do like to listen to now jazz when I'm writing. Before it was more like different kind of beats, but I always listen to things that give me sort of a rhythmic type flow.
That's really interesting. You listen to jazz while you're writing. Do you think that influences like the flow of the composition?
That's interesting. I know for one thing, it's a calming mechanism. It's like, oh, the jazz comes on you know, what else is happening in the world, I'm focused on that. And it's sort of like a routine to put me in a space and a certain kind of state of mind. And sometimes maybe a melody may take me in a different direction. And sometimes I already have something in mind that I want to, but typically I just start writing and go from there.
You said your last poem was inspired by Mahogany Brown. What do you mean inspired by? How?
Well, I know most of you heard that poem called Black Girl Magic. It was that one. When I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. Is there like something like that for, you know, the Black boys and youth out there who need that sort of encouragement too, who need to hear, you know, the other side of that conversation. And because when I heard it, I just kind of like, you know, your hair stands up when you hear something really good. My head stood up, and that's how that happened. A lot of times when I'm in these spaces, whether it's Nuyorican, listening to other poets, when I'm hearing what they're saying or sharing, I feel like when I'm writing, I'm joining in that conversation. Oh, I got something to say with that. Oh my gosh, that really resonated with me. And that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's interesting you say inspired by, you know, but you really have your own style. I mean, I guess that's a big question. You know, we listen to other poets, we read other poets, but then developing our own style, that's like a big challenge. I mean, how do you think that happens for you?
Definitely. Well, I can talk specifically about my last poetry collection. I really was grappling with how did I want to approach, for example, I wanted to talk about Black issues in a way that may resonate, that can get people feeling something, that can get people to activate. And how could I do it? You know, these conversations have been happening in theater, you know, protesting, you know, all sorts of ways. And what I ended up concluding was, hey, just be too original. And with that, I went on sort of a quest to make pieces attempting to use as many styles of writing and types of poetry that I could come up with, from freestyle to man, all different type of poems, shape poems, um, uh, words that, you know, repeat, or just all different type of styles I was trying to get to really resonate with whoever was listening or who was reading. Because the trick was, am I going to be in a room when they're experiencing it? You know, here's a beautiful place where we have folks who are eager to hear and be inspired and share what they have to say. So that's great, that's good, that's awesome. But also for the folks who may just be experiencing on the page, I want them to say, oh wow, these sort of poems, they do more than one thing. They do these things lyrically, and then some of them are shaped this way, or let me analyze it. Oh, he uses this word a lot of times. What is he really trying to get this? So you can really dive into it and have multiple experiences with the pieces.
I love your focus on, you know, that you want the poem to resonate. And I think that is also a big challenge. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson says, you know, like it's not enough to be right. You have to be effective. And I think that is really, you know, like when we write our poems, you know, it's not enough to be angry, right? It's not enough to be right, but you want that poem to resonate. You want it to connect. You want it to be effective. I mean, I don't, what do you want to say about that? I mean, the last poem you read, I mean, I think I'm not the only one in the room, right, who wanted to stand up and cheer. So how did you arrive at that, you know, making that resonate or making that effective?
Well, with poems, a lot, and with writing in general, I look at it as taking a journey, you know, and I'm grabbing the participant, whether it's the reader or the listener, on a journey with me. And and in that time, we're gonna experience some things, you know, we're gonna experience some things and we're gonna feel some kind of way. and ultimately with a piece when besides just saying, oh my gosh, I know this is it, but after rewriting several times and reading it from the front, from beginning to end from the beginning, out of order, and really see how whether the trajectory is going, whether it's emotionally, whether it's the narrative, whether it's however it's happening, when one of those key indicators for me is hit, I know that the poem did its job. It's hired.
Yeah. Well, you said you look at the poem from the beginning to the end, you rewrite it, you revise it. I think that really, sometimes we don't look at that part of the process, revision, as being so important. We write the poem and we get all that anger or all that euphoria or whatever it is, that emotion, we get it all on paper, and we kind of feel like, oh, that's it, I've captured it. And even someone like Jack Kerouac said, like, oh, first thoughts, best thoughts. But I was a student of Allen Ginsberg, and I remember a student in our class once handing him a portfolio of poems, and he said to Allen, like, oh, what did you think of my poems? And Allen said, these aren't edited. Why are you wasting my time? I think he called it with this, like, crap. Like, why are you wasting my time with this crap? As he said to the student poet, right? And the student was, horrified. He said, but Jack Kerouac says, like, first thoughts are your best thoughts, no editing. And I remember Allen Ginsberg pointed to the student and said, Kerouac was a genius. You're no genius, right? So I think that's something like we all have to remember, like in our own genius world, like we are our own genius, but we still have to make our poems like sort of resonate for others. And to do that, sometimes we need to revise, right? And sometimes we need to revise a lot.
One of the things that I like to say is the words have to earn their spot. They need to earn their place on the page. They can't just show up and not know what they're doing. Yeah. And that's usually a good indicator. When I'm looking at the words, are more than one word doing the same job. That's one of the things I'm looking at. Is there a word that can be most impactful and on the page? Is there a better word? It could I replace a specific word? How does a specific piece read when I take out certain things? Sometimes you experience something and you read it. So, you know what? Let me just. I'm on the fence whether this fits in or not. You take it out and read it and see what you experience. And if you don't miss it, chances are it probably didn't belong. But yeah, I would say words earning their spot. And that's not to say you can't create a piece that is pretty good the first time. But I would say it's much better to have a discipline to approach each poem with the attitude that you're gonna write and engage with it several times over.
Mm. Claire is saying genius is in the eye of the beholder. So true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. We have that format. I mean, people think of like, slam poetry, like the slam venue. You can stand up and say anything you want. It's like free form. But it's not free form, right? You got to stay under 3 minutes. If you go over 3 minutes, you're losing points, right? So you have to. So sometimes that, drive or that guideline, right? Not guideline, that's that prescription, right? To stay under 3 minutes is really good because you got to pare it down. So sometimes I could create a slam poem, it ends up being 5 minutes. So it can't be 5 minutes. It's got to be 3 minutes. So as you said, those words have to earn their place. So you got to get rid of all, the words that aren't doing their job.
Yeah, absolutely, Christine. And the beauty about being creative is you can decide how you want to approach that, right? So there could be I remember one time I was writing a piece several times and I was rewriting. I was like, something didn't write. And it was this long piece. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are 3 different poems. 3 different poems. I don't know how to see that, and that's one of those things. It's like, okay, these poems are in conversation with each other, but they're not directly happening right there. You know, they're not stanzas, they're separate pieces. And that's what happens when you're locked in and you're reading in pieces or you're writing. So it literally can be an experience like that. Okay, this could be used somewhere else, or maybe I'll just have two versions. I'll have a long version. I have a more condensed version, and that's okay as well too. You know, as a like if this was a movie, you say an alternate ending, but in poetry, you know, you just have a different version. That's okay as long as you're able to sort of. I think if you take the time of when you're writing to also reflect on your own processes that you've developed, whether you learned it in school or whether you learned it from reading or whether you just had this kind of natural affinity for rhythm and blues. Keep an eye on your process because that can be so telling for what you're able to create in the future.
Nice. Yeah. Andres was saying you have to get the words or get rid of the words that are out of place. That's sort of interesting because, you know, like as he's saying, the words, maybe they're good words, but they're just not in the right place, right? You got to move them, as you said. You're like, maybe that belongs in a different poem. It's a whole, you know, it's a whole other creation. Well, we're good. Should we start with the open mic now? I think we've got a lot of poets in the room, maybe that has something to say. So we, you know.
Let's do it. I mean, we're interested in hearing what the voices are. I'm interested in being inspired. I hope you all are too.
Okay, so I guess, I don't know, do you guys have the ability to raise your hand? Anyone want to step up first for the open mic?
I see someone wrote, I'd like to volunteer. I'm gonna name it TJ Simba Medal.
I don't know.
Oh, so you are not, I just got upgraded to the host. Oh, okay, I'm a host. All right, so the first one up, and please make sure, just for anybody, if I mispronounce your name, please let me know because I want to make sure that your name is pronounced as accurately as possible. Okay, so the first one up will be TJ Simba. Is that okay? I'm gonna try to find this person.
But you know what? These guys may be here to hear the poems and may not have brought something. Claire McWilliams, she's volunteering to go first for the open mic. Is that right, Claire?
Well, TJ volunteered now, so you want to go?
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay.
And then Claire could go like maybe afterward.
Yep.
All right, TJ, we're about to unmute you.
Hello?
Hey, we can hear you.
We hear you.
We can't see you, but we hear you.
Hi, everybody. Oh, hi. Oh, hello. My apologies for being late. First of all, thank you so much, Professor Allen, for sharing your voice. Y'all having this open mic. Great. I don't know. Am I allowed to curse? Can I not curse? I don't know. I just saw this on Facebook and I was just like, oh yeah, I want to join an open mic.
Chris, can he curse? I think absolutely.
Yeah, we don't censor our poets.
Yeah, no.
Or writers.
Wonderful. Thank you. I never know, right? Just want to check in. Hi, everybody. My name's TJ Simba Medell. Pronouns are he, him, his. And yeah, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this virtual space. I hope y'all enjoy my words. And yeah, here we go. I know, right? It feels weird. Professor Allen is like, yo, normally you'd hear like, woo! Or like in the background,
oh!
Woo! Drinks and stuff. And somebody saying, it's like, yo, where's my change? All right, cool. Let me, sorry, I gotta, The first time somebody said to me that we need to behead white supremacy, that our ancestors were summoning us to answer the call to be headhunters. Headhunters! In this time of civility. The moment the history was told to me that there are stories about Black soldiers helping Filipinos see racial inequities in the Philippines during World War II, it made me feel like I was knighted into ancestry. I felt my purpose find validity from Bayani to Agbayani. Why does my family hate me? Why does my family threaten to end our unity? I was taught to do the right thing. Ma, you told me to do the right thing, Ma. You told me to do the right thing. What was the Catholic school for, Ma? What were the speech classes for, Ma? What was the erasure of my heritage inside of my skin by blackening out my accent with speech classes, Ma? The soap you used was skin whitening on my mouth every time you used to say I was being disrespectful. I was just trying to do the right thing, Mother. I was just questioning why you don't want me to do the right thing anymore, Mom. Why doesn't my family see what I see? You can't replace property. You can replace property, Ma. You can't replace Black bodies. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. As a creative consultant, I have to host a vivid, descriptive, specific world of possibilities that your eyes can't see. I use my imagination. Imagineer a danger room full of civil unrest, political corruption, and blatant disregard for total health, where I see no respect for honor, humanity, and wanting something bigger for yourself. I see an LED 1080p or hypothetical reality of Filipino bodies hanging on trees. Filipino bodies brutalized by police. My nieces and nephews in cages infested with COVID. I see my trans Filipino OAX asterisk members of my family being spat on, cursed at, threatened with death. I imagine dress codes where we can't get in because of the barongs and Filipinanas that we wear, because who cares about the color of our skin? We don't want Filipinos drinking at our water fountains. As a creative consultant, I have to host a vivid, descriptive, specific. I've been conditioned to believe that everything that comes from a screen is there to inform me, to conform me. I've never received a hug from a TV screen. The virtual learning is new to me. It's new to my students. It's new to my kids. My connection with you could always be possibly interrupted by any fucking thing possible that you can imagine. I once saw a llama in the same Zoom where someone was being held accountable over the racial inequities that the company was implementing in its hiring policy. The llama was not thrilled. We told our kids that video games would rot their brains, and yet we asked them to sit in front of a screen for hours on end, all day, every day, each box filled with the visual privileges that each person has. That's why when I tell my students that they don't need to go on video, to each his own. You see, seeing your names on screens was all I needed to see you, and I love it because you don't have to be seen for me to see you, and I see you, fam. I see you. From Romero's car to Bianca's really dope Nike t-shirt. One thing you can't get on 5G or LTE is the spirit that gives you meaning, the spirit that keeps you feeling, though whatever the hell power you want to call it, that gets you to wake up in the morning and say, I know what I'm feeling is hard and I'm okay with crime because that's how I need to be right now in this moment in order to fight my right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because when I go after my dreams, the ancestors of my past celebrate my victories because it is a victory to just fucking breathe, to write my own declaration of my identity, and to every single breath that I take. You are a national treasure. You are literally a treasure. You are literally shining. So shine, fam. Shine for all of it. Shine all that light on your triumphs. Shine all that light on that blog you're working on. Shine all that light in that Twitch that you're putting up. Shine up that dusty guitar and learn that skill you want. Shine up all those fucking masters and PhDs you wanted to go after because you know the system is fucked up. And I want you to shine that light on all the injustice in this country because that backlight that we get from our screens has been doom scrolling its energy onto all of us and me. And the social dilemma I'm having about free speech and social marketing and tearing down the system, forms of neo-colonization and white supremacy that's literally programmed into the plexiglass of your cell phone screens. The sun do shine, so let it shine. The sun do shine, so let it shine. Because how can we let it shine when the light comes from the forest that is fired up so bright that UFOs are coming down on New Jersey? Are you for real? Asking if we need to shine some shit that people have been hiding under all of us all your motherfucking years. Shine on things to make them clear. Because when you shine, when you show us in a room, on a Zoom, 6 feet away, out in the streets, stomping over in front of every single goddamn live that you see us in, how can we be together when we can't be together? Vulnerability. Thank you.
Woo! Wow, TJ, you're our national treasure. Thanks for your energy.
Love it, love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I just want to thank the New Eureka Poets Cafe for continuing to do the work that I, as a youth poet 15 years ago, learned in that space. I love the New Yo. I love Mo Brown. I love, you know, the entire New York scene. The New York scene was where I learned how to have this voice. So I can't thank y'all enough for continuing to bring awareness and just being the space for us to be able to speak. Because from where I am and where I live at an undisclosed location, speaking up and speaking out can get you arrested.
Wow. Thanks, TJ. I think a lot of us started at NUYO, myself, when I was a college student as well. NUYO is a national treasure. And this is a free event, but of course, you know, as you know, the NUYO is closed. Yeah. So it needs your support. So thanks for reminding us, TJ. There is a way to donate. Chris, can you say something about that? If someone wants to donate, how would they go about doing that?
Sure. You can visit our website, www.neweurekan.org. I also put it in the chat periodically throughout the event. You can check the chat. Great.
Thanks so much. So if you can, you know, even $5, you know, anything you can spare to keep the NUYO going, you know, especially in New York, you know, our institutions, our music, art, you know, literature institutions need your support. So yeah, anything you can do for NUYO would be really appreciated. And so we can grow more poets like TJ. Okay, so who's up next for our open mic? I think Claire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You want to unmute yourself?
I don't know if she's.
Can you unmute? Sure. There you go. You should be able to unmute.
You are unmuted.
Oh.
Oh. Maybe we both did it and we muted and unmuted her.
Sorry, Claire.
Are you able to hear me now?
We can hear you.
Yeah. So you probably tell by the accent, I'm not from New York. So I was scrolling through YouTube and found this.
And so where are you coming from, Claire?
I'm in Northern Ireland. I'm in Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Oh yeah, so it's late for you. You're up late with us.
20 to 1, yeah. So I was just kind of scrolling through and thought, I was looking at the beatniks actually, funny enough, you mentioned Jack Kerouac, and I was watching the only footage of him on the Dave Allen show. Is it Dave Allen, Stephen Allen, something show? What? But yeah, so, and I spotted you guys, and I've always really wanted to go to New York and do some, and perform some poetry there. So,
well, here's your big chance. You're with us in New York, and we're so glad that you're joining us. And hopefully one day you'll actually get on,
Oh, yeah. Hopefully,
Yep.
you'll never know. So, so I'll do a poem about Northern Ireland. This is one that I would be quite well known for, as published and things. So, and I perform it. I'm currently turning it into a ballad. So it's called Fickle Home. Fickle home, what shall I name thee? Many of your own turn peat to feed the heat of hate, grow cold but not forgotten under our feet. A testament to our trials, a lesson for the now. Your moistness, since eyes with tears never cried, and Sheen's hands with blood-slaked thirst. Traditions held on a timer, now wriggling through the birth canal of tentative peace. Still knocking on the cannon, a warning to be heard. Dated Ulster, bombing streets and buildings with explosive talent. God has not saved you, and so an army of artists is emerging to give you back your map. Ego sung, drawn, and written through hardship breeds the best criers of your state. For that is what you've become, a state of the arts, a state of emergence, a state of our own making. Fertile North, packed with agnostics, brought up religiously by jam pieces, yellow pack and sweets from a jar behind the counter on a Sunday. I call you to arms to stir this beautiful pot of self-deprecators. Show them your pride in who you are and that you belong to them, with them, and for them. Springtop of Ireland, spin me a yarn of hope, a linen of light, weave a continental quilt to drape across that drafty chill that lingers from the long, cold, dark winter. Give me a jar for your pennies and a forum for your thought. Paramilitary province, step up from your apathetic knees and volunteer your multicolored hand for union with your own. For through you, with you, in you, in the unity of a Celtic spirit, all stories be honored and told in century blighted. We're hungering for it. Fickle home. Oh, all done.
Wow. Thanks so much, Claire. I think, outside of Ireland, Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, not a lot of people know that the Troubles are still a thing, right? I remember several years ago being in Drogheda for the FLA, actually, and this one fellow had to drive up to Derry, and his wife said, "I'm going with him," as though she didn't feel it was safe for him to go on his own.
Yeah, well, generations, it'll take longer. It's 25 years now since the peace process. Since the Good Friday Agreement. And they say that it'll take another 25 years because intergenerational trauma, it continues.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, my parents, were threatened with getting bombed out and threatened to get burnt out of their homes. And, I got beaten up as a child for being a certain religion. So things like that, will take time. Luckily, my daughter doesn't feel the same way. She doesn't have the same hates, but some parents teach their children that, which is what we need to wipe out, which is why poetry is so important here.
Yeah, well, you see what's happening here, right? We have the same, issue where racism gets passed on generation to generation, and you have, a political system that supports that. So
yeah, a lot of people who were paramilitaries before have now sort of jumped on the racist bandwagon.
Wow.
So I find that I work in intercultural work in Northern Ireland. So I work closely with people from BAM community and people from the Asian community and people from the Chinese community in order to try and bring people together of different cultures so that we can, because Northern Ireland has had a very big influx in recent years of newcomers because of the peace process. So,
well, thanks so much for your work, Claire, for your poetry and for the work that you do to bring cultures together.
Thank you very much for allowing me to read. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Well, I hope you'll join us again.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm loving this. So this is great. So I'm in the York.
Anybody else for the open mic? Come on. Don't be shy.
Let's
Make
This
me
is your
come up
big
to that.
chance. It's a Nuyorican.
All we need is one. We know someone's out there.
Yeah.
You're weighing it in your mind. Should I go? Should I say something? Yes.
God.
That you know that piece you want to share. That's the piece. Mm-hmm.
Andres is really active in the chat. Andres, you don't have a poem for us? Maybe next time. Well, we still have 15 minutes. What do you think, Rashaan? Should we do like a quick poetry workshop or poetry writing?
Oh, let's actually. I want to do some writing.
Yeah, like
Okay.
quick,
Okay. Yeah.
like
Let's
few minutes,
do that.
like a 5-minute writing, what, exercise, and then maybe someone wants to read what they wrote.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Do we need a prompt?
Yeah.
Or y'all ready to go?
Well, you have a prompt.
What comes to mind when you think of the word silence?
Silence. Okay.
We join in too.
Okay, we'll give you 4 minutes. Okay, maybe 1 more minute. okay, maybe just write your last word. Derek's already written his poem in the chat. Silence may represent the opportunity for endless possibilities, a chance to see things in an uninhibited perspective. Very smart. Anybody want to read your poem?
Anybody want to share?
Could raise your hand digitally or physically. Claire has something. Claire, can
Okay, since nobody else is stepping up quickly.
I do see another hand.
Oh, it's just a wee thing. So it's silence does not exist. Even in the coma, I could see your voices. Even in sleep, you thrum and beat and gurgle and shift. Silence does not exist until just before the birds start to rustle. There is a tiny moment at about 4 where you'll get a blessed minute of peace.
oh. Love that, Claire. Thank you. Thanks so much. And we've got Shirley.
Hi. Okay, so I'm not a really good poet. I've never done poetry, so I mean, let's see. I wrote emptiness of souls, the heart beating sounds louder than your breathing. The need of someone's present. Your mind starts to overthink of simple situations. Silence it takes the right of what you want to say and feel, and it takes away all your joy and your smile.
Hey, Shirley, that's amazing. Thanks so much. All those images, like just like it's beautiful. A catalog of images. You must be writing poetry all the time. I don't believe that's the first. Yari, are you raising are you volunteering? Or are you clapping? Now, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Naor, Naor, right? He says it's 3 a.m. and he's written something. So I guess we're supposed to be, what? I don't know, paying attention to the fact that it's 3 a.m. for you? Join us, please.
Hi, hello.
Where are you exactly?
Oh, right now I'm in Israel.
Oh yeah.
Visiting.
Can you please tell us how to pronounce your name correctly?
Naor, Naor. It's like you can just say an A and then OR. It makes much more easier.
Okay.
I wrote I am beat, I am done. For your actions have never been forgot. Your shadow and your figure loom over my bright future. As the night falls, the day rises. I remember all my compromises.
Nice. You know, I love that when you have that rhyming right at the end. It gives such a great impact to the conclusion of the poem. Thanks so much. That's great. Andres, you're up next.
Yeah, hey. I actually came up with some. It's kind of short, but I thought it would be a bit meaningful. So I thought, why not share it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Silence. A moment of nothingness. Empty thoughts. But to speak is to not be silent.
Nice.
That's all I got.
That's great. Can you say the first part of it again, or say the whole thing again? It's short.
Yeah, it's short. Silence. A moment of nothingness. Empty thoughts. But to speak is to not be silent.
Nice. The first line and the last line really contrast a moment of nothingness, but to speak is to not be silent. I love that.
Yeah. I actually just thought of that because of you know, a lot of things that have happened like here lately. I'm not gonna say where. It's just like it's mostly there are some moments that happen and it's just like silent, and then you know that's kind of where I got the inspiration from.
Yeah, instead of action or protest, if you have
Yeah.
silence, it feels like there's a lot of inertia, right? Like nothing's really happening.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
All right, thank you, Andres. Anybody else? Bianca seemed to have something. Bianca, are you with us? Do you want to read yours? Okay.
Woo! My background is kind of noisy a little bit, but my little poem is, they say we have freedom of speech, but yet we are forced to stay silent. They say they are happy for you, but yet they stay silent. They say that they love you, but yet they show you they are silent. And I don't have no more.
Yeah, nice.
I love the way how you started every line with "they say," you know,
Yeah.
and then you twisted it as it went on. They say they're happy for you, but they say they love you, but that's such a interesting way to approach silence.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, with silent you get lonely sometimes.
Mm.
You could be in a room full of people or a party and you feel alone and you're just standing there silent to yourself. But there's people there, there's interactions there, there's things to do. So they is mostly your surroundings. Like there's stuff that's not supposed to make you feel alone or silent, but it doesn't. So that's what they mean.
And also it's a great message, like step up, right? Like, you know, if you have something to say it. Don't stay silent when you see an injustice. Like step up, say something, right? The way you feel, that's great. But unless you say something, you know, nothing's going to happen.
You don't say it, you could show me, but you don't do it either.
You don't say it or show me.
Yeah.
Wow. This is some powerful stuff, you know. The words that we're hearing, we're getting some potent poetry. Really
I think we've got So Young, and I think that's going to be it because we're coming to the end of our hour. So Young, will you please educate us? Hold on. Try again.
All right. Hi. How are you?
Hey.
Welcome.
Actually, I'm an English learner, so maybe it's not really good English word that I can use for this poem, but this is the first time, but I like to share it. I like to feel my feeling about silence, so enjoy. When you feel sorrow, you go into your burrow. Hearing what your mind tells gives you more tales. Coming closer and closer to your silence, you will be yourself again.
Nice.
That was beautiful. Coming close
to
silence. I've never thought about silence that way.
Thank you.
Like it's something that's moving around you, or you can approach it. Wow.
It's a beautiful last line. Sometimes those final lines are the, you know, that's the sticking point, right? That's the most difficult part, but that was really great. Thank you so much. Guada has something here. Hold on. Oh, it's jumping around. There's no one to defeat. I ain't here to compete. The silence is not a skeet. My mind just can't admit. That's great.
I guess not. Ah.
Well, thanks so much, everyone, for showing up, for participating. It's been a great night, a lot of energy. Thanks to Rashaan Allen. Rashaan, I hope you'll come back and do this with us again.
I think I may have to, because I was here just saying, wow, this just brought me back to this space. I love being around other poets and just the community, the feeling. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I still feel like I'm in a Nuyorican. I know community.
It's really true. It's more than a building. It's a spirit, right?
And I feel
There's
it.
the spirit of New York in New York. So again, if you're moved to, if you can, like I said, like $5, anything you can donate to the Nuyorican just to keep this institution going. It's historic. It's important. It's important for our community internationally, right? We had wonderful poets here from all over the world, right? Thanks to all of you who read your, inspiring poetry, and to all of you who came to listen. So I hope we'll see you again. We've got another, oh my gosh, Chris, I don't know what the date is for October. Do you happen to know the word date? I think it's October.
Give me 1 second. I'll find it quickly.
That's great. Thank you. What would we do without Chris? Our tech guy. But every month on Word, we've got like fabulous feature poets, great poetry coming from, the group that joins us. As you know, like we're
28.
on Zoom, we're also on Facebook Live.
Is this recorded and shit, or is it just live?
I don't know, Chris. No, well, it's on Facebook. So if you want to watch it on Facebook, you can go and watch it, anytime.
Yeah.
Facebook
You can
Live.
watch it and download it. The next one's October 28th.
All right, so please join us October 28th, just in time for Halloween, right? You want to come in costume? That's great too. But we hope to see you there. Thanks, Rashaan. Thanks to you guys for showing up with your great poetry. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Nuyorican.